Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back. You know, we need to have Sigmund follow us around. I love that. And we are back.
Well, I think for the next Rat Pack event, I would love to have him, as people walk into the doors, have him announce it. Here's K. Maxwell.
You know what we should do? We should have him in, and we should be offering a service like he will record your next voicemail.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Awesome.
That'd be really good.
That's a great idea.
Not a bad one, right?
I would totally pay for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would insist on that.
I would agree.
Well, our next guest is a very dear friend of mine, and
Yes.
I've known Michael Roddy for a very long time. He is with Remax Memorial. Is that Town and Country?
Remax Memorial Town and Country. You are right.
Okay, they blended all those.
You got them both right.
Well, it was two Remaxes, and they combined an office. And
That's correct.
A while back. So and Michael has worked a lot with custom home builders and has gone out and found them lots and listed the home after they built the home and things like that. So. He was perfect for this show. It was designed for him.
It was designed for him.
Welcome to the show, Michael.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me up. Chris, I don't know
Yes.
if you remember, but I was here once before, even though I only got to talk for just a short amount of time.
Yes.
Rob, you know a little bit about that.
Well, that was when Lisa Kornhauser was on that
Yes,
same day.
yes,
that is
exactly.
We had that cast of 1,000. They were lined up against the wall.
So we have two two-timers in the
Yeah,
studio
Two
today.
two-timers, absolutely.
Yeah, he didn't want to be left out. That's true.
Even though you could call me just a time and a half. Really.
A time and a half. Okay, you're a time and a halfer.
Oh, my. So, we're going to kind of ask the same kind of questions. I know you work a lot with custom builders, and right now, lots are in short supply right now.
Lots are in very short supply, and we're seeing the value of the dirt, especially when you get closer into town, especially inside of Loop 610, is just going up tremendously. But just finding, Rob, you're absolutely right, just finding the lot itself is a chore, and it is something that a realtor absolutely can assist with, and it can take some time. Timing is everything. So if the timing is right, there is a possibility that a lot can be found in a short amount of time. However, I always recommend that they be prepared to wait for some time in order for us to find the lot, be able to negotiate, and then interview a builder. And this is something that both the other guests brought up today that I think is so important, where a realtor is key, is they can introduce you to a number of builders. And I would recommend visiting with 2 or 3 builders, I would say 2 at least, and see how the personalities mesh, because you are literally going to be working with that person for anywhere from 8 months to a year, sometimes more.
Right.
So it is almost like a marriage, and the personalities have to be able to work together.
And not only that, you also have to have a clear idea and understanding going into it of what you're looking for. And I think also, we talked about this in some past shows. It's important also to know within your marriage, to go in there and have
Exactly.
a clear line of communication between that as well. Because, when you're building your own home, things happen, changes happen, personalities happen. And so you have to be able to make sure you have a clear line of communication, understanding, and building that. We joke around.
And if it's a man and wife, make sure that the woman gets the final say so. I mean, that makes it so much easier.
It really does, doesn't it?
Dear is the
Yes,
best answer
dear.
to that.
Yes, exactly.
It's funny,
Exactly.
there's a sign that hangs in my kitchen that was given to my husband from my father, and it says the 2 smartest words a man can say is yes, dear.
Yeah, well, I never learned that. But
Well,
I'm
I
going to
agree.
write
I've
that
got the
down.
last word in my house. I always have the last word in my house. Yes, whatever you like, dear.
Communication also between the builder or the building supervisor and the customer, meaning the client, our clients, is key. And if those clients happen to be in a position with their careers, et cetera, where they travel a lot, we act as the go-between. We can talk with the builder for them. We know what the goals are. We're experienced in this field, and it just assists in making that communication and everything run smoothly.
And a lot of times what people don't realize is, and I don't care which home builder it is, whether it be a custom home builder and or a track home builder, is a lot of times you're dealing with you're going to select the builder, right? And you see that owner, that salesperson, et cetera, but you're oftentimes working, especially on a custom home, with the supervisor, superintendent, or some of the trades. How do you go about looking and seeing and selecting a builder that might, to know how they select those trades? What are some of the questions you would ask?
Usually everyone up here today has been in this business for a while. And after you've been in this business for a while, you have come to work with these builders in the past. You get to know not only the builder or the company, you get to know a lot of their building supervisors, the persons who you're going to be speaking with literally on a weekly basis. And once you get to know them and what their personalities are like, actually most of them enjoy working with a good, experienced realtor. We know the lingo, we know what they're looking for, we know the time frames, and communication, I can't stress that enough. Communication is just key.
Yep.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, it really is, and be able to, I always like to have that dialogue before you start.
Right.
And then I know, Michael, I know you sit them down and say, this is what's going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then when it does happen, and they'll go, oh, yeah, Michael told us that was going to happen.
There's very few surprises. You're exactly right.
There's going to be surprises.
There's going to be surprises.
And that actually is what you're preparing for. There's going to be a surprise.
But the more that you can cut those surprises down, the better it is. I call them hurdles.
Right.
The more hurdles that you can get out of the way ahead of time, and I know it's like that in your business, in your industry. The more hurdles you can get past in the beginning, the better it is all the way around, and give the client a great experience. There's stories that we hear about people who get into building a home, whether that's with a production builder or with a custom builder, and some of them have these stories that just make you cringe when you hear them. And you want to try to eliminate as much of that and make it a very good experience for them all the way around.
And on the custom home side, the other thing I'm going to tell everybody is also look at this, the architects that you're going to be working with. I mean, it's important because a lot of times if you're not working with an architectural firm that is flexible and can provide you with that same type of service, that can be a little difficult because then the builder's waiting on the architectural diagrams to come back, the architects, they need to make a change, et cetera, et cetera. So that's also a very important part of that process on some of those custom homes.
Very good point. Absolutely. Joe, I think you had a
Joe's
question.
over here percolating. I think he's going to explode.
No, I'm good.
There went that chicken.
Chicken! No, I was going to say, to a couple that comes in, sits down, says, Michael, we're looking at moving. We want to upgrade a little bit, and we're not decided on new home versus an existing property. We're leaning towards new, but we've never done the new home process. We've never, had a home built. What would be, kind of the first guidance or counseling that you would give?
Well, one of the key things is what part of the city would they like to be in, and if they don't mind a commute and they would like to go a little bit further out, there's a number of choices for new homes. Closer in, as we talked about just a few moments ago, finding the lots and being able to find them a place to build, the timing may not work out for them in that regard. So if they're looking at new versus resale, agents really, you sit down and you talk with them about what are their goals, meaning where are they going to be working? Do they mind commuting? The other one is, I've had people here lately tell me, I want everything within a 3 to 5 mile radius. I don't want to have to go out of that radius.
These are my people.
So there's a number of things that you ask. And just through a conversation, if you go out for coffee or go out for a bite to eat, just through conversation with them, you can usually find out what may work best for them. And a new home is not always best. Some young couples, and this was recently, that had talked to me about new communities but much further out. We wound up working with them, and both of them wound up buying in the Meyerland area in a mature community. They knew what they were getting. Both of them, I've talked with both recently. They absolutely love being over there, where both came to me initially and said, we would like to look at new construction. We did look at new construction, and then we compared that with a more mature community closer in, and they found out that fit their needs best.
Do you ever see, or is it ever a concern if a person says, well, the values of increase are known in this area, but this is a new area, new construction, it's unknown. Do you ever see any issues where a person is looking at the home purchase as part of their long-term investment strategy and saying, hey, this this part of town or this community has a known growth rate or predictable, at least relatively predictable. This is new, and that's a concern. That ever come up?
It does, and you're absolutely right. And this is something that I would bring up with the mature communities, as you just said. You can pretty much look at the past trends and give them a good idea of where that community may be going, the percentage of appreciation if they plan on being there over the next 5, 7, or 10 years. In a brand new community, especially the ones that are further out, you really don't have a track record to go on. You don't know what that neighborhood is actually going to do 5 years from now. So that could be a bit of a compromise, depending on, like we said earlier, which way do they want to go? Do they absolutely want brand new construction, or would they be okay maybe a little closer in a more mature neighborhood where we can give them the track record of that neighborhood and of that community, and they know what they're getting, as opposed to having a new home and not necessarily knowing what's going to be going on in and around that neighborhood.
Now, I know you love to work in West University, and oftentimes people are looking for a lot to buy a new home or to build a new home. What's the first thing you counsel them? Probably patience is probably the first thing.
Patience. You are absolutely right.
I thought you were going to go, New England on us and say, forget about it.
No, it's not impossible. It's not an impossible task, but patience is key. And sometimes they have to make a compromise in leasing for a period of time until you can locate something for them. But 100% correct. Patience is key.
And I know Westview is it's already a built-out community. It's well located. A lot of medical, a lot of professors. I mean, that type of people. That's your demographics. And they say, "This is where I want to be," and you have to go, "Not there yet."
Exactly.
We're running against a break again, Chris.
We are, but Michael, how can we reach you if you don't mind?
You can reach me on my direct line number, 832-204-1377, 24 hours a day.
7 days a week.
Wow. I'm calling him
2 in the morning. Test him out, folks.
2 or 3 in the morning.
I didn't say I would answer personally. You may have to leave a voicemail, but it works 24 hours a day. 832-204-1377.
That sounds great. Time flies when you're having fun. We have one last segment coming up in which we do our open mic segment in which we get to talk everything.
We're going to get Remington to start talking
and the very first thing we're going to talk about when we come back is Renee's going to talk about what came first, the chicken or the egg. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
And that's a recipe for making love. And if you've made it right, you'll know it. It's not like anything you've made before. And if you've made it wrong, you'll know it. 'Cause it won't keep you coming back for more.